Well, welcome everyone. This is part of our Better Together Thursdays conversations and workshops throughout the region. And this would have been, I think we would have had a couple of nice dinners at this time by now, were we in Lake Ozark celebrating our great region and all of the people who constitute it, who gather together. And we are here for our virtual regional assembly, and we have adapted as well as we could. But one of the things that we realize that we'll miss in gathering in person is conversation about how things are in the region. And we do want to just have open dialogue, which probably do at the end, but also to explain kind of the business items that we have. And as someone asked, indeed, how are we going to vote in this? And I will say we've consulted our bylaws and our regional attorney and the state of Missouri laws for digital voting, and we are in compliance. But it is a process, and we'll explain how to do that. But before we go too far, I want to introduce everyone who's on the call. So I'll go ahead and call out your name because I think we're always scrambled depending on how your screen goes. Just kind of say who you are and what congregation you're from. And certainly if you're part of regional leadership, please identify how that is. So I'll go ahead and start. I am Paul Koch, proud to be a regional minister as part of our wonderful team, and I serve the eastern part of our state, our region. So Jimmy.
My name is Jimmy Spear. I'm associate minister at First Christian Church in Columbia, Missouri for a long time now, and finishing up 2 years as your moderator, and will hopefully navigate this with you just a little bit more, and looking forward to our broadcast on Saturday when you get to see way and hear from me way too much. But it's been an honor to be with you in all these ways. Okay.
Christine.
Yeah, good evening. It's a joy to be with you. I'm coming to you from my home tonight in Springfield, Missouri, but I also spend time at South Street Christian Church some days during the week. I'm very grateful for their long-term commitment to housing the regional office in the south part of the state. I'm new in this position as transitional regional minister. I came from Texas. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I'm proud to be among you in Missouri now for 18 or so months. Look forward to worshiping with you and getting to know you and working side by side with you.
Thank you. Ray.
I'm Ray Miles. I'm a retired minister, currently serving as a part-time bridge pastor at First Christian Church in Fulton, Missouri.
And if I could brag on you, Ray, one of the many things that we kind of do throughout the region, and Ray's helping us with, is that's to nurture some candidates for ordination. We have a special class of folks, and Ray willingly agreed. So we certainly want to be pastor to pastors is one of my joys as regional ministry. And Ray has the experience, and we have a special class of pastors seeking apprentice track ordination, and he's going to be a mentor to them. So just thank you again, Ray. Jane.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jane Kelly, and I am a commissioned minister, and I am retired and active. And it is just such a joy to be here. One of the most enjoyable things I'm doing right now is doing some pulpit supply. And I find that to be so rewarding. So thank you so much for having this tonight.
Thank you. Teresa.
Well, hi, I'm Teresa Spear. I too am a commissioned minister. I am connected with South Street Christian Church in Springfield as their minister of visitation. And I'm really excited because this last August, I finished my last class in the ministry training program. So pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Dan.
I'm Dan Kircher. I'm the pastor at the Plattsburgh Christian Church, and I'm also moderator-elect. And I should confess that I am a teacher and not a preacher. I spent 30 years in education and was superintendent of schools for 13 of those years. And from my early days of teaching, I was a VOAG teacher, and I became very interested in parliamentary procedure. So I'm a registered parliamentarian, and I don't know very much about anything, except I do know a little bit about Robert's Rules of Order. So if you have questions, I'll try to find them in the book because I probably won't know them outright. But I'm glad to be here this evening and to be a part of this forum.
Thank you. Susan.
Hi, everybody. I am Susan Moore, Ministry Associate in the St. Louis office, which has just moved from the Eden Seminary campus, where it was for about 15 years, I think, to Webster Groves Christian Church. So contact information has recently changed. Double check the website if you're having any trouble getting a hold of me. And I also serve as the communications coordinator.
Thank you. Just remind me when I have to type in the zip code for our regional credit cards, I'm to switch to 63122, right? So little panic attacks as I go, what's happening? Eileen.
Hi, I'm Eileen Nelson, and I'm from Community Christian Church, and I'm the Disciple Women's Treasurer.
Welcome. Jenny.
I'm Jenny Brown. I'm the ministry associate in the Springfield office, and I work with the clergy through ARCOM and the CMT groups.
Thank you. Nancy.
Hi, I am Nancy Bass. I am from the First Christian Church in Sedalia, Missouri, where I'm currently serving as board president, which I'll never let them trick me into that again. And I am pleased to have been asked to be put on the ballot for consideration for secretary of this organization for next year.
Wonderful. We heard don't even call you in July, right? So
Well, mid-July until the fair is over. I work for Missouri State Fair. And that pretty much takes over my world about mid-July until it is finished. At least in pre-COVID years it did. We'll
Right.
see what happens next.
How wonderful. See, Ron.
Ron Rutledge, grateful to be a regional minister here in Mid-America. And next month, November 1st, it'll be 2 years already, which has just flown by for me. I help us out of my home in Brookfield and cover the west part of the region. Grateful to be with you all.
And William.
Yes, I'm William Brown, pastor at Community Christian Church in Camdenton, and I care very much about all of our churches in this region, and I'm excited to hear all this exciting information tonight and, of course, on Saturday.
Thank you, and welcome, Charlie. We're just doing introductions, kind of where we are and what kind of ministry we provide in the region. And you're muted.
I'm Charlie Bond, and I'm Minister of Congregational Care at Brentwood Christian Church in Springfield. And I'm also involved with the Regional Commission on Ministry and commissioning ministry team in the southwest part of the region.
All right, well, welcome everyone. And as William and maybe some others mentioned, we are in advance of our first virtual regional assembly that will be taking place at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And hopefully all of you have registered and gone to the website to click on the link. And you will be receiving your information that you need very, very shortly in advance of the assembly. But I don't want to get too far ahead of us because there's lots of steps and things you want to know. And I will begin by turning it over to Jimmy Spear, our moderator, who will walk us through some of these questions.
Okay, if you, Susan is going to put up some things on a screen share so you can look through some of the items that we're talking about at the assembly. So we will present to you in the docket that you will receive or access on our website. And then also, and we'll get to how to access those things in a few minutes because that's a whole thing. But when you access the docket in the documents, if you choose to do so, you're going to find two pieces of business there that you're voting on. And one of them is the slate of regional board and regional commission on minister members and leaders. And so and the other is some bylaw changes. We'll look first at the slate. And so Susan will put that up. You'll see that. Thanks, Susan, for making the changes from this morning. A couple things. What you see before you is our attempt to get all the names in front of you with the information about each person. And what you've got to know is that as we look for people to be on the regional board and the regional commission on the order of ministry, we are concerned about diversity. We are in all ways. And so that is if city people and rural people and town people and big town and small town and way in the north and way in the south and somewhere in the middle and every other direction, that there's clergy and that there's lay people, and then a good diversity in the very people that show up, age and gender and orientation and race and on. As you know, as we all come, we realize that we are a very diverse church. So keeping that in mind, we've got the names that are in that are bolded are the names that we're voting on as at this particular assembly. Some of us are already in positions that will go into the next 2 years. And so you'll see Dan Kircher, he has been moderator elect and he is now moving into moderator position. And we have asked Madeline Haraway to be moderator elect. Madeline is a layperson from Compton Heights Christian Church in St. Louis. She brings a long tenured connection to the disciples through Compton Heights at that church. She's currently their board, very much like you, Nancy. She's their current board moderator, president, and now moving into this. She's getting a little breath in between, we hope. But and so Madeline has been on committees and on the old area boards in years ago and search committees and a number of things. And so is very familiar with the region, but also has a fresh spirit in the way that she approaches church. You'll see myself, I have 2 more years as past moderator to be on the executive committee, to be present at board meetings. Nancy, as she said, Nancy Baus from First Christian Church in Sedalia, a layperson, will be secretary, and Tom Wood from Webster Groves Christian Church, a layperson, is taking on his third term of 3 to be a treasurer. The at-large executive committee representative, and also same person to be the representative at the general board of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. So that's on the national level. Paula Holliday, a layperson from Second Christian Church in New London. Paula has served in both of those capacities and brings a wealth of wisdom and connection for us to the general church, and brings back the report of those meetings. You'll see in the directors class of 2024, so that people are being elected for a 4-year term. Hannah Ryan is the new name among those names from Olivet Christian Church, a clergy person. So she is a new person filling in a vacancy. Paula Holliday, Brian Kirk, Phil Snyder, Catherine Wilson would be elected to their 2nd term. You'll see the directors of the class of 2022, Lee Young, Katrude Palmer, Jeff Moore, and Charles Williams. And so we're not re-electing those folks, but this gives you a sense. It's good to see the whole board so you can see the diversity and just know who we are. The second section, the Commission on Ministry, Catherine Kinnaman is our staff person for that commission. And so as that is the case, she was coming off of, she had been a member and the chairperson, but cannot do both. So she is now the staff person, and there's a vacancy in the class of 2024, now 2026. She and myself and others have been looking for the right person to fill that, and are still looking. And so sometimes we are turned down in the course of these things because the gifts that we might see in people, they aren't always ready to take a hold of that position, whether it be for moderator-elect or secretary or treasurer or director or these commission positions. And so we're still looking for that person. We also have heard that there may be another opening after the first of the year. And so the regional board will work to fill those vacancies as soon as we're able to find someone that can fill that vacancy on ARCOM and maintain the diversity that we need, but also find people that can give ARCOM what that's a unique commission in the life of the church. Michael Williams, you'll see there in bold, a clergy person from Dexter would be a new person filling in a new position there. Michael is a UCC pastor that's serving for some years now, the Disciples Church in Dexter. He's an Air Force, I believe, chaplain. Is that right, Paul? Paul nods yes. So Michael's an Air Force chaplain. He's been in the region for a while and is glad to be a part of that. You'll note there, not that we give, note that it says general designations of location. While we are shying away as much as possible from saying northeast, southwest, etc., because that harkens up old boundaries that don't apply, there is a sense that if that's noted, we're trying to do both right now. The geographic designation and then also the town will probably move into, it would be my hope that we would move into just the town and everybody can get out a map and figure out where things are in Missouri, we hope. Missouri and, our little part of Illinois that's a part of our region. But this just gives you a sense, though, of the breadth of our board and ARCOM. And so those are the folks and the rationale behind this sheet. Any questions on that, anyone? Oh, I would say also that you'll notice it's a tricky thing here, Regional Commission of Ministry. It says class of 2020, now 2022. You'd say, what is this weird thing I've never seen before? Well, in the last couple of years, the commission has undertaken, well, I don't even know, a large project to reevaluate and redefine the work that they do. And a lot of these folks on the commission were a part of that. And with the regional minister staff changes that we had in this last year, plus some major changes on the commission in terms of the way that they work and the guidelines that they use. And it was the commission requested that they all stay for 2 more years so as to carry over their knowledge of this new system that is being put in place. That wasn't the best explanation of that, and I apologize. But so they asked that of the regional board as we were figuring out if we needed to find a new class of people. And their solution was and all these people were willing to extend by 2 years, plus adding Michael Williams in the open spot. And we still have 1 more open spot. So as to, for that group to live into for the next 2 years, the changes that they made this year. And so that, and with Catherine Kinnaman now, that staff person, that is going to go much smoother and she can carry that group through that, but also she's not the chairperson. Sarah Clausen from Columbia is now the chairperson. So the combination of Sarah and Catherine both have been on the commission and the carrying over of these individuals who all agreed to continue. So there you go. Thank you, Susan, for that piece of paper. Any questions there? Well, that was the riveting part. So you look like you've got that rivet, like you're so interested face. Moving on to the real good stuff is the next item of business is changes to the bylaws. Now, if you've ever been on the church board when they decided to change the bylaws, some churches, that's all they do, right? Amen. Anyone been on that? I love the people at First Christian Louisiana. I mean, part of my heart is still there, right? The funniest group of people, but they love to change the bylaws. I don't even know what they changed. They just, we need to make a bylaw. They changed the bylaws more than Anyway, see, there you go. And you all have lived through some of those experiences. We are not that group of people, but we do have a couple things that need changing. So let's just say that this isn't we're not always running to change the bylaws, but here's the rationale. We are 5 years into this one region, and with that period of time and the significant changes that we had in the regional minister team, the board in conversation on the very topic, found that there were some things that some language that could be changed that would better serve our region. So one thing was the ethos. I'll give a little context here, and then we'll go through these pieces. The regional board took seriously, and I'm kind of reading my paragraph that you'll see at the bottom there, the concerns on the ethos of the team approach of the regional minister team. And in an effort to avoid an unhealthy impression of hierarchy among co-equals, the board has changed some language, primarily eliminating the position of regional minister team leader. And so the regional minister team, who 2, 3, 4 people, will share that responsibility and decide among themselves who is team leader and the team leader would convene them. That's the person that convenes the group, and that is for them to decide and work out and then they report back to the board how that's going. And all regional ministers will, it's our hope with these bylaw changes that all regional ministers will share leadership on that team, and all will be a part of the executive committee also. So they'd all can come to board meetings, but only the team leader was at the executive committee meetings. And the executive committee does a lot of minutia and that needs to be done. And it's so helpful to hear from all of them, because they're all connected to the whole of the region in ways that the people on the board are not having all those same conversations. And so having all the regional ministers in that group and conversation, we've been needing the strength of those conversations. And so another part is that the personnel committee was the responsibility in the bylaws of the past moderator. And we found in the last year and a half that wasn't perhaps the best model. The moderator had been moderator for 2 years, and then as in the last 2 years was not able to be present. And as a result, the personnel committee was not present, and we needed one very badly. And so the executive committee was able to pull together a committee and take care of some personnel issues that came up. And so that caused us to say, what can we do that might create something that would last longer than one person who might be low on steam in a 6-year gig, what might we do to allow that to be done differently? And so as we discussed this issue, it was brought up that we would, if we had a member of the board with experience, interest in handling personnel, if they started that at the beginning of their term, then they would have a longer life of dealing with the personnel. And the past moderator would be a part of that committee to bring the knowledge of the last few years and whatever institutional knowledge is needed. So that's what you find in Articles 3. The next one, so you've got A, B, C, D, and E. So the first one, the regional board consists of those people as it had been. The members of the regional minister team shall be non-voting ex officio. Instead of team leader, it's the whole team. Number B, that's just the issue of the past moderator, that there'll be a ex officio voting member of the personnel committee, do the other things that they do. Part in letter C, you'll see anytime it will be a regional minister team member shall serve as corporate president to be renewed each year. Now that's another thing that currently Ron Rutledge is the corporate president of the region. You think, oh, I thought they were what's the difference between a regional minister and a corporate president? Well, Ron is a regional minister, but our corporate entity that we are needs the person to sign off on property and finances and those type of things. And so Ron serves in that capacity. He might have something to say more than that. He may not. Okay. Oh, and he says, and they make a lot more money. if only the president made more money, right? Right? Is that how we feel in the world? So the regional minister serves. So, and that will be renewed each year. So not that we are changing corporate president, that's too much paperwork, but it is good for the board to identify who best can serve in that capacity based upon who's on the regional minister team. We know that Christine is transitional, so there will be a called person in that position. Who knows, right? How this team will continue to change. And so we can renew that each year, whoever the corporate president is. And part D, you'll see here of this bylaw changes. Anytime it says in the bylaws regional minister team leader, it will say one of the offices of the regional minister team throughout the bylaws. And section E, again, with the regional minister team shall be changed to a member of the regional minister team. So here's the thing about that, in case you're wondering, well, this seems odd. In our old structure, in our current structure, we'd say until Saturday, in our current structure, it was set up in those first 5 years that the team leader was also the president of the corporation and the person on the team that related to the denomination. So that was the designee regional minister to be on the College of Regional Ministers. So the consortium of people from all around the denomination, all the regions, getting together to confer, to advise, to resource each other, to assist regions that are without a regional minister. And so if that was the case, moving forward, again, we're in the moving forward, what would the impression be to a co-equal group if that particular portfolio existed the way it did? We found that implied a hierarchy that we were not intending to imply. And we also found that the group of regional ministers had gifts for all of those three pieces: the general church liaison, the finances and paperwork, and the what was the third one? Oh, team leader, right? That they all could share a team leader. That separating out those did not change anything with the denomination or with our finances, but separated out the gifts and made it more equal among the regional ministers that we have. We also note that the St. Louis office and the Springfield office are resources for all regional ministers. So there is not Christine's if she goes to a physical office, it's where Jenny is in Springfield. But Ron and Paul, when they show up there, that's their office too, right? And the same goes for all three of them if they go to St. Louis. That they all office out of those places should they need physical location to meet with people, meet as a staff. But that Jenny and Susan, the ministry associates in both offices, function to work with all of the regional ministers on a multitude of different things. So that was kind of complicated, but really we're evening it out is the thought. Any questions after all that? That was the
Yes.
end of my version of me giving
Question.
Yeah, question.
Did I understand you to say that the regional ministry team is now ex officio non-voting members of the executive committee or of the regional board?
I believe that would be both. So whereas there had been one on the executive committee, now they all are.
Does that need to be stated anywhere in the amendments to the,
Well, that's what is noted in that's number 2, bylaws changes, section A, article 3, section 1 shall now read, this is who's on the regional board should be composed of the voting members, and what Susan has highlighted there, she's going to highlight this, all members of the regional minister team shall be non-voting ex officio members of the regional board. So that doesn't
Yep.
say.
yeah, but I don't see anywhere on
Doesn't
here
say
that
anything
it
about
states they
executive.
will be on the executive committee.
Yeah, it's further down in the italics.
Well, that's in my explanation. Well,
I just wonder if that needs to be
Yeah.
part of the bylaws, or if, because it seems like we're operating by assumption and by commentary if we
yeah.
just leave it in your comments.
No, yeah, it's not supposed to be just in the comments. And so I'm looking at an original version, and then we changed it from, it's going to change from one thing to the other into how it shall read. The lawyer in the group chat made it sound so it would sound more direct and left out the word executive committee. And you're the first one to catch it, despite our 1,000 reads of this. So
Well, it's kind of like the Federalist Papers down there, read the commentary, but am I correct, Jimmy, that the executive committee is a rather kind of a new construct? It's really an informal group to help keep business going for the regional board that only meets twice a year. So it's, I don't want to say it's a loose construct, but I hear you, Ray. When we start to revise, it'd be good to quantify that, and then what powers the executive committee has if necessary.
It'd be as simple as just adding in the words "and the executive committee" after the regional board.
Yeah, we can't do it for this assembly because the bylaws had to be posted weeks in advance. I believe we could ask our parliamentarian.
Well, there could be a motion to amend,
Oh, okay.
oh, don't do that to me.
and that would require a 2/3 vote. Normally, amend only requires a majority vote, but because you're amending something that requires 2/3 for adoption, the amendment also then requires a 2/3 vote. So there is that possibility, but someone would have to propose that amendment, and
There is actually, as I read the bylaws, the current ones, there is not, we're sorry, the rest of you, that we're only going to take you into the bylaws for another moment here. There is not a description of an executive committee. So it had, I guess, functioned as in, well, they had functioned to finesse issues to bring to the regional board. And the team leader had been coming to that. Oh, let's see.
I think that's right. And I would suggest we be intentional and spend more time to, if we wanted to make that subgroup official, really think about that and alter it as Ray is suggesting to make it better. So thank you, Ray, for pointing that out, and Dan.
Indeed, thank you, Ray. And there is no designee of any regional ministers coming to the executive committee. So right now they are all voting or all present at the regional board as a team, and the team leader. There's no language about that.
Probably if we are going to do something, I would assume that it would be best to do it carefully and have it for next assembly. And it would also need to spell out specifically the responsibilities, the duties of the executive committee in terms of what they can do and what is held as only can be done by regional board versus what can be done only by regional assembly.
Yeah, and that gets to more than what we were trying to do here. That's the move of the big ship, and the 10 pages of bylaws will add a page, is what you're saying.
Right, and hopefully we'll be able to be there in person to discuss
noted.
thoroughly.
And
We wanted to
we'll,
keep business as minimal as possible for this virtual experiment.
We will add that to the agenda for future board meetings. Thanks. Any other questions about the bylaws changes?
I'm not seeing any digital hands waved either. So let's talk about registration and the ballot and how we tune in to the assembly and the docket that'll be available.
If you are I don't know, I'll take that.
Please do, yep.
You can take it.
And Susan can certainly chime in with
exactly. Susan
keep us straight.
the most knowledgeable. There's a group of us that were working all these parts. Seth Rash, our esteemed tech person by volunteer, is the clergy person at Troy First Christian, and so he has created the assembly video. It's a video, and you may say, why is it not live? It's going to seem live if you turn it on and say, wow, they are all out there somewhere doing this. Then that's what we hope, that you're in your heart, you're thinking it's live. However, in order to produce this and make it get to you and not freeze up and not get caught on some internet crisis between here and where someone is feeding in a video, the creation of what we were hoping to be a 90-minute, which is now about 100 minutes or so, regional assembly will seem live, but it is a series of many recordings from all over, and we hope that that you will be glad to see people from all over in that. And you're gonna see scenes of Ghana that we had no idea what the Colvins were up to, but you're gonna see and hear about that. You're gonna hear from the general church, from local churches. There's pictures of clergy people and congregations that are new clergy people in our region and the congregations they serve. You'll see churches you never have seen before, and that will be good for us all, right? And then there is some talking, explaining things in general, how the region's going, what's going on, about our finances, about our staffing. There is time for Bible study, a significant Bible study in the first portion. There is a communion service for us all to share at the end. So bring your communion elements, you'll need them. There is some singing. You know, we can't sing without masks at home, at church or in public, but at home, you can sing out with the words that are on your screen. So it's our hope that this version that we're providing that will be on Facebook, on the region's Facebook page. And you may say, but I don't have Facebook. That's okay. If you can click on the link, Facebook lets you in to watch. You won't be able to comment, but you can, as Paul said, ask questions of any of the regional staff, myself, and we can put them into the comments as you have need. We're glad to do that. We will all be standing by watching and at our email and computers and our phones during the whole proceedings, so that way we can be responsive. And so 10 minutes prior to 9 o'clock on Saturday, if you registered for the assembly, you will receive an email from Susan Moore, who has a new email address, but that's a whole other thing, starting today. So she has, you'll receive it from Susan Moore that has your ballot. And it's one of these easy ballots. You just keep clicking on all the things that will get you to the next screen, and you'll say yes or no to the two items, and your name and your email address, these type of things, and that you attended, meaning that you're watching, you've watched, attended, and you click send, and it goes back to Susan, and then the tally of the voters will be taken. And at 11:30, now if it starts at 9, it's going till around 11, almost 11. Then there's a half an hour for voting. You may vote. When you vote is up to you, but you have until 11:29, because at 11:30 that shuts down and we tally the votes and then a response of the how that went, and an installation of sorts as well as we can. Me on the screen and all our people out there of our new officers. That will also be rerun on Wednesday in the update, so you can click there and watch the summation of the voting and the installation. You can also, if you miss it somehow, or I don't know, your dog has to go outside and you miss a section, and but that was the good part, right? Yeah, that you missed, but you can watch it on we have a YouTube version of it that will be placed on the regional website that you can watch now and every day for the rest of your life, should you need this kind of goodness each and every day. So on the website is YouTube later. You can watch, even if you're not on Facebook. Susan will put the link. Did you put the link in, Susan? In the chat? Okay. She's put the link there. I'll tell you what I did. I'm kind of low tech, and to go find it later, I would be afraid. So I have cut and pasted that into an email that I'm going to send later some church ladies, because there's a group of church ladies that want to attend this. I don't know if they're on Facebook. It doesn't matter. They're going to click on it and be there on Saturday. And so that's how I'm doing it. You may do it that way. You can go to the regional website under the regional assembly tab. All these things, all the clickables are there to get in. So that answers it. If you're a voter, if you're a non-voter, you can access it. Now you may say, oh, but you keep speaking of this docket, and I like the paper. How many of you like the paper version of things? Either that you look at something that's paper on your screen, or you actually print it out. We've got this lovely logo that we worked on like a year ago, not knowing it would be only, oh, he's already got. So, oh, nice. See, you're already connecting. See how this is? And that you can print out your docket, you can look at it. That will be available. Susan, tell us when that's available. Today's Thursday. Did you make it available today?
It is available right now.
It's available today. It wasn't for the noon group, but now it is available.
That was a long time ago.
It was an age ago. So you can print it out. You can read it ahead of time. You circle the things, get your hymnal ready, get your communion, do all those things. And then follow it as it goes through the assembly. So that answers the docket question. Yeah, it's on the website. It will be attached in the email. That all will come to that ballot will come 10 minutes prior to 9 o'clock. If you get on it 10 minutes till, hang out there. We've got some pre-show picture slides going through, some music. There's some comedy at the beginning. So don't wait till 10 after to join in, because you will miss some of us at perhaps our best. I mean, I hate to say that is our best, but the wholeness of from the beginning, there's a little funny opening to the all of us at the table at the very end, should hopefully, with a lot of general church and regional church mixed in, and voices and faces from around the region speaking from their living rooms and their literal prayer closets, some people outside. It will be hopefully all the pieces that this needed to be. Any other questions about voting or ballots or the information? There's one last piece that you were missing at an assembly, right? And that is I'll speak on it on Saturday, but that is the relational part, right? I mean, when we got on here, I had to talk to Teresa Spear about our last name. We've done that before. I don't know, like 5 or 10 years ago, I think we had that conversation, right? So there is something that we get when we show up to a place, that we see familiar faces and we make new friends. Pamela Pettyjohn, we hear that you are the newest face on the scene here, correct? Where are you from? Unmute. Neosho, I think she's serving in Neosho. But that might mean
there we go. Yes, I'm serving in Neosho. I started August 15th.
Okay.
And
you came from where?
I came from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And my family's still there. And I'm actually enjoying having a place to myself. for the first time in 30 years. So
The benefits of ministry are not lost on this person right here, I'll tell you.
so
So welcome, we'd say welcome. What we would do at the assembly is say welcome. Now you're new enough. Is she in the new minister thing? I don't know. Don't quote me. You're not yet. Okay, sorry. So you're new enough that we're not even going to see your face in the line of faces. But in the assembly, it would in person would be the time that we would say, here you are. Put a face with the name. Continue to embrace the stories that connect us in the past, currently, and hopefully in the future. Many of us come to the assembly, and I said this earlier today. I'll say it again. We see Susan and Jenny for the first time face to face. We've talked to them on the phone. We've emailed them. We've harassed them. They've harassed us with emails needing things yesterday, tomorrow, right? But we get to see that they smile and they're good people when we're at the assembly. Charlie Bond, he has been at every assembly since, well, I mean, when wasn't he, right? And so we have so many pieces of the region that come together that we're going to miss that. You're going to have to remember it, and you're going to have to channel it, and you're going to have to if you're on Facebook logged in and if you're a Facebooker, you can put say hi to Charlie, say welcome to Pamela, say hello to Teresa, Susan, good to see you. You know, although Susan and Jenny's faces are not in the video, so if you didn't know what they look like, you got to come back in 2 years. So that's the other piece of regional assembly that we're trying to make happen, but it's going to take all of us at home remembering the connections and the pieces that we have and that we've always had or we look to have in the future. We've got a lot of new folks, and this is such a great way for them. We hopefully Pamela and all the others. It's a long list of new people in the region, and hopefully they will know us better, and they'll feel better together if they spend Saturday morning with us and with you all. So
we have about 10 minutes. We hope to keep this to an hour for those of you who have other plans, but let's just open the floor. Are there any questions or comments or discussion points just about the region in general or about the Christian Church Disciples of Christ?
We have somebody by phone. Do we know who that is?
That's an Illinois number, but I don't know who it is.
This is Lisa Kreit member of Crossroads Christian Church and organist at Webster Groves Christian Church.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Do I have Dan share briefly about the Visioning Task Force?
Sure, we'll talk about that for a minute. As we know, the region in the last 5 years has evolved greatly. And so in May, the regional board appointed a Visioning 2021 task force. And there are 22 or 24 of us. We've had 2 virtual Zoom meetings. And at our first call, we addressed who we are and what do we do and how do we do it as a region. And then we felt like we answered those questions. And so we have evolved to more, but we need input from the entire region, not just those on our task force. And so as a part of the assembly Saturday, you'll see a report from me asking for input. And so as you gather in your congregations, have your minister, if you're a lay person or if you're a pastor, talk to your congregations about the structure of the region, things that we'll point out Saturday. Try to make a note of those and dig deeper and maybe supply us with some answers. But we're looking at our structure and how we operate, and can we sustain what we're doing now with 3 regional ministers? Do we need 4? That part of the structure thing. And then there are 3 new questions that we are proposing, and we'd just like for you to address those, maybe in your clergy clusters, maybe one-on-one in your congregations, or a phone call with somebody. But please help us out. you can address your responses to to me, and my information will be on there, to Jimmy, to any of our regional ministers, and they'll get that back to us as a task force, and we just want to hear from you.
All right, thank you, Dan. And seeing no other hands or points, I've asked Christine if she would please close us in prayer.
Oh, I didn't get that memo, but I'm happy to do
Oh,
it.
okay.
I grew up Southern Baptist. I don't need a memo.
Maybe we need a team leader. I don't know. I'm a team leader right now. We're after Saturday. Y'all gonna have.
Well, the leader will say, check your chat, Christine.
You can always just send all verses of just as I am if you were bad.
Would you mute Jimmy and Ron talk, please? So before I close this in prayer, I want you to take a really good look at Charlie Bond's face. Yeah, he and I went to seminary together. I just want you to know these are two faces of a seminary education in the mid 80s. He had a terrible preaching teacher. I had the best there was in our denomination, but he became a preacher and I became a pastoral counselor. So it's good to see you and work with you again, Charlie. I'm proud of you. I look forward to getting to know many of the rest of you too. So let's pray as we end our night together. Oh God, it's been a good day, a productive day, a day of connections, a day of holiness and delight as we have reached out to one another across the state, and in your name and on behalf of the greater denomination, we give you thanks for the really hard work that's gone into what started today and will culminate Saturday that we call Regional Assembly, and for the ongoing classes that we are able to celebrate and enjoy together on Thursdays in our town hall forum. Thank you for the leadership of each person on this committee locally and regionally, for the opportunities we have to get to know one another across our region, and for who you are for us. Oh God, may we continue to become all that you have created us to be in the days ahead. Amen.
Thank you all for joining us. Good to have you with us tonight. We hope this was helpful, and we'll see you on Saturday. Spread the word. Get some people.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good job, Paul and Jimmy.